Friedrich Nietzsche said, "And thus I spoke to life. I am that which must always overcome itself." It sounds demanding, even unsettling. Not the kind of sentence you find on posters or coffee mugs. It doesn't comfort you. It doesn't reassure you that you're already enough. Instead, it implies something far more dangerous, that who you are right now is temporary and insufficient. Modern culture tells you the opposite. It whispers something softer, easier, more marketable. Be yourself. Don't change. Don't strain. Don't become uncomfortable in pursuit of something higher. But what if that advice is not kindness, but containment? What if be yourself is not a path to freedom, but a quiet command to remain small, while others, less sentimental and more strategic, remake themselves into something far more formidable? Tonight, we're going to examine why one of the most celebrated phrases in modern culture may also be one of its most deceptive, and why the people who rule history almost never followed it. The idea behind "be yourself" is simple. You are told that authenticity is virtue, that your natural inclinations are sacred, that success, respect, and fulfillment arrive when you stop trying to change and simply express who you already are. It feels humane, gentle, democratic, but power has never worked this way. History does not reward people for being themselves. It rewards those who understand what the moment demands and become that. This is the uncomfortable truth. The self is not a fixed essence waiting to be expressed. It is a tool, something shaped, sharpened, and sometimes discarded. The belief that your current personality is somehow your truest form is a modern invention. Ancient thinkers would have found it strange, even childish. In ancient Rome, no serious man aspired to be himself. He aspired to embody virtues, discipline, restraint, strategic adaptability. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of the most powerful civilization on earth, did not wake up asking how to express his inner feelings. He asked how to suppress them. In Meditations, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Notice what is missing. There is no celebration of authenticity, no worship of impulse. The self, to Marcus Aurelius, was raw material, not truth. The same pattern appears in the East. Sun Tzu never told generals to be themselves. He warned them that rigidity is death. "Be extremely subtle, even to the point of formlessness," he wrote. Formlessness meant the ability to change identity, strategy, posture without attachment. To be fixed was to be predictable. To be predictable was to be defeated. Even Machiavelli, so often misunderstood, saw this clearly. In The Prince, he notes that a ruler who insists on being good in all circumstances will be destroyed among those who are not good. His advice was chillingly practical. Learn how not to be yourself when the situation requires it. History's most effective figures were not authentic. They were adaptive. Julius Caesar was not naturally magnanimous. He performed magnanimity when it served him. Napoleon was not born commanding. He studied command, posture, tone, symbolism, and presence like a science. They treated identity as strategy. Now contrast this with modern culture. Today, "be yourself" is often code for "do not grow." It tells the insecure that their limitations are virtues. It reframes discomfort as oppression. It transforms discipline into betrayal of the self. If you are socially awkward, you are told to embrace it. If you are undisciplined, you are told that structure would suppress your creativity. If you lack confidence, you are told confidence would be inauthentic. But confidence is not dishonesty. Discipline is not oppression. Transformation is not betrayal. The most successful people understand something most never will. The self you start with is rarely the self that succeeds. Look at leaders in the modern world. Effective CEOs do not act the same in the boardroom as they do at home. Politicians do not speak to voters the way they speak to friends. Commanders do not lead troops by revealing their doubts. This is not hypocrisy. It is role consciousness. Irving Goffman, the sociologist, argued that human life is fundamentally theatrical. We are always performing. The only question is whether we do it deliberately or unconsciously. Those who insist on being themselves are often just refusing to learn the script, and so they are outperformed by those who do. This principle applies everywhere. In negotiation, the person who clings to their natural style is predictable. In relationships, the one who insists, "This is just how I am," never evolves. In careers, the person who refuses to adopt the language, habits, and rhythms of power stays forever adjacent to it. Close enough to see, never close enough to hold. Psychologically, the lie works because it feels protective. Change requires admitting that who you are now is insufficient for where you want to go. That admission wounds the ego. Be yourself soothes it, but power does not care about your self-image. There is a paradox here that most people miss. Those who build a strong identity are usually the ones most willing to abandon it. They are not attached to traits. They are attached to outcomes. This is why actors are so often psychologically sharp. They understand viscerally that identity is malleable. That posture changes perception. That voice changes authority. That behavior shapes belief, even self-belief. William James, one of the founders of modern psychology, noted that action often precedes emotion. You do not act confident because you feel confident. You feel confident because you act confident. In other words, the self follows behavior, not the other way around. Most people reverse this and wait. They wait until they feel like themselves. Until growth feels natural. Until transformation feels authentic. And they wait forever. Meanwhile, those who quietly shape themselves advance. This is where the phrase becomes most dangerous. It disguises fear as virtue, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of becoming someone unfamiliar. It tells people that effort is a mask, that adaptation is deception, that ambition is self-betrayal. But every meaningful transformation in history involved self-betrayal, the betrayal of an old self that could not survive what came next. The warrior betrays the civilian. The ruler betrays the child. The disciplined mind betrays the impulsive one, and something stronger emerges. So what should replace be yourself? Not deception, not emptiness. The alternative is far more demanding. Become who the moment requires. Ask not, "Who am I?" but "Who must I become to handle this?" This question changes everything. It turns life into a strategic game rather than a confessional. It reframes discomfort as data. It makes growth inevitable. The ancient Greeks understood this deeply. Their heroes were not admired for authenticity, but for arete, excellence achieved through struggle, training, and deliberate self-overcoming. They knew that the self is forged, not found. And here is the final, unsettling truth. The people telling you to be yourself are often those who benefit from you staying exactly as you are. A predictable population is easier to manage. A static individual is easier to surpass. A person convinced that growth is betrayal will never challenge the hierarchy. Power does not spread this message. Comfort does. So remember this the next time you hear those three soothing words. They are not advice, they are anesthesia, and emperors do not sleep, they adapt.